Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing International Master Blue in the 5-minute pool on ICC. I think I know who this is. I think this is my buddy Kassa Korley, who you might recall if you've been watching my channel for a while. I was in London with. He played the London Chess Classic, and he was there with some of my other friends too. And we played some live Blitz chess. So if you search his name on my channel, then you'll find some games that we've already played. Okay, so he's playing the Zurich variation, which Herr Christoph Selecki recommended in his repertoire book. I didn't actually mean to play this line. I was going to play bishop d2 because that's the move I played before. That's slightly annoying. All right, I'm going to make this up as I go along then. Let's play b4. I'm going to try to put the bishop on b2. h6. Okay. Well, let's just continue with bishop b2. Now, I have the option to double fianchetto if I want. That's kind of intriguing to me, so I think I'm going to go for it. g3, bishop g2, castle. Try to squeeze him very slowly with my bishop pair. Kassa is quite resourceful. I was getting the better of him in those games that we played in London, but I'm not taking anything for granted. The dude he's strong. So I'm going to take this pawn. We'll see which way he recaptures. I think he should take with the knight. Although maybe not. If pawn takes, then b5, but he can go knight d4 after that. So probably I should just castle right here. I think that's the most appropriate thing to do. Just make sure I don't run into any problems on the e-file. And he's going to open this e-file. I wonder if he's going to shove that pawn to e3. So knight d4 is the obvious move at this stage, I would say. Can I make a case for knight d2? Probably bishop f5 then. I don't see that leading anywhere. I think knight d4. I like this move a little bit more. He's content to trade and then develop the bishop. Okay, so rook fe1 seems fair. f3 also possible. But I have a little more faith in this move, so let's do that. If rook a d8, he would drop the pawn on a7. So yes, he plays b6, probably preparing rook a d8 on the next move. Now I'm thinking h3. Let's just back that bishop off. And assuming he attacks my queen, where will I put the queen? Either e3 or c3. Kind of liking e3, strangely enough. Even though you might think you'd want to keep the queen and the bishop connected on the diagonal. e3 will overprotect the e-pawn, so I might be able to more easily dispute the file after that. Yeah, let's do that. And I can always bring the queen back to c3 if necessary. I'm not going to mate him on g7 anytime soon, but then again, after queen c3, it's unlikely he would have moved the knight away and allowed me to checkmate. So this is the type of position I'm good with. I feel pretty confident about this. I've got the bishop pair. I'm probably a tiny bit better. I don't think it's anything substantial. I don't want to overstate my advantage, but it's a nice position. Okay, rook c1. Maybe getting ready for c5. Yeah. I'll keep in mind that bishop takes f6 followed by taking on e4 is a possibility. I don't think I want to do it right away, though. He's got that rook lurking on e8, so let's not get too excited about that. Yeah, c5, I think that's a good move. I can try to squeeze him now with b5. Or I can do something else like take. But if take, he might take with the queen. And I kind of want to keep my queen parked here. I think this is a good spot for it. So yeah, let's commence squeezing and see what he does. This might be a position where black just has trouble making moves due to white space. I have ways I can poke and prod. Let's say a4, a5 on the queen side. I'm even thinking about g4, g4, g5. I can't dispute the d-file yet because he could trade on d1 and then my c4 pawn would fall. But it's up to black to figure something out now. Let's watch that time, though, because I don't want to get too much lower than I currently am compared to him. Knight h7. He says go ahead, take this pawn. Can you really do that? So you're going to go knight g5 after that? Is that what you're telling me, Kassa? I don't really buy it. I want to call your bluff, dude. Yeah, I'm going to call it. Knight g5, queen h4. But then he has the capture, doesn't he? I missed that. Okay, so I can play queen e5 if I want, but queen e5 he's going to play f6. At least then I have some weaknesses I can work with. So that was a miscalculation by me. I thought I could go queen h4, but knight takes h3, bishop takes h3, queen takes h4 would have dashed those hopes. So now he's going to win the pawn back, but I feel I'm going to retain something. I don't know what that is, but something. Okay, queen f4 or queen c3? Queen f4, he'll take with the knight, I believe. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Queen c3, he can also take with the knight, but at least then, yeah, I'm going to play queen c3. At least then I can play king f1. A little worried about rook coming into d4. I don't know how that comports with my current setup. So I made the mistake of assuming that my opponent had blundered when he played knight h7. I should have double-checked that the pawn was not, in fact, just hanging. Okay, but not a disaster. We're still in the game. f4, he'd have to go back to h3 or do something else. I could play a move to just dispute the file, but I'm a little worried about e2. I don't want e2 suddenly dropping off. Let's play f4. I know this move is kind of extreme. Whoa, I got to watch my time, big time. He's got a minute advantage at this point. So let's try to kick that knight back somewhere passive. Maybe knight f7 to d6, though. I'm suddenly seeing that that is possible. Okay, let's try to be annoying in the short term. I'm going to play this move and pin him. He might just play bishop e6, but then I'm thinking e4. And at least I can transform the structure. That may bring some advantage if I'm able to do that. Yeah, now let's push this pawn. King f8 is a little surprising. It seems like kind of a cramped move. It does get his knight out of the pin, but it seems to invite e5 stuff. So I'm thinking now, swing the queen over to f3. Maybe I could even snake my queen in. Queen h5, queen g6, etc. Let's do this first, though. See if he wants to make this trade happen on d5. We might be playing a bullet game quite soon. Queen there. Okay, king here looks correct. He's going to bring the knight to that annoying square, though. Let's do this. I'm going to try to pump the rook into e6 if I can. That looks good if I'm able to do it. Let's go here. Knight's a little pesky on g5. I might still play rook e6 even as a sacrifice. Sacrifice the exchange. But first I probably need to play king g2, something like that. Just so I can get my other rook over to f1 eventually. I think that could be a positive development. If he ever proposes a queen trade, like queen d6, I can just leave my queen on f4. Let him take. I think that structure is good for me. F5 becomes weak. I don't know. Really? That one, huh? Rook e6. Do I do it? Let's try it. Looks fun. Okay, now I can swing over and take this guy at least. Let's take here. Threaten c5. Ooh, he has rook e4, though. Ooh, this is going to get dicey. I don't know what's happening now. Take c5. Comes with check, but I'm not sure about it. Yeah, let's take it. I'm going to go here now, having the queen defend laterally. My king is so open, though. I got to be super duper careful with my 22 seconds. Pinning a lot of hope on my center pawns. My king position has seen better days. Just trying to centralize. Rook b7 maybe is an idea. Let's stop him from coordinating as long as we can. d7 is coming. Let's go here. Just try to trade something off. Let's push this guy next. 12 seconds to 15. Let's do this. He can check. Oh, he missed it. Let's go here, look for a trade. I can't move fast enough. Oh, he hung his queen. I moved just a little faster than him right at the end. I got the victory. Not proud of that end, though. That was just a pure time scramble. Anything could have happened right there. So I got worried when I played my rook into e6, and he, I think correctly, gave up the pawn on b6, either sacrificed it or maybe blundered it. Let's go with sacrifice. We'll give Kassa the benefit of the doubt. And after that, he gained the use of the e4 square, though. This was looking awfully scary. I would rather be black here in a time scramble, I think. I mean, I was able to hold after winning the pawn because of this d6 move, defending laterally, but my king is just completely naked here. He can always tuck his away on h7. He's also got a knight in a time scramble, which is far better than a bishop when the seconds are ticking away. So I was not optimistic about my chances to hold here or even win. Yeah, and the end was completely ridiculous. We were just both blundering left and right, mainly me. So the opening went well, aside from the fact that I meant to play this bishop to d2 line. That's the move that I played in a game last fall against international master Georgy Orlov in the US Chess League, and I had a good game there, so I kind of know the ideas. So white gets the bishop pair in this line, but black is really solid, and if they're able to execute this e5 break, they can often establish some roadblocks in the center. Specifically, the pawn on e5 will block the bishop on b2. So the influence of white's bishop pair can often be negated that way. I would play this middle game again, though. Like, let's just pick a position that looks standard. Like right around here. I think white's a tad better. Optically, all of black's pieces are good, but the e-pawn could be overextended. I have a gorgeous dark square bishop. I think he correctly played c5 right here before I could play c5 myself. This was a key moment after knight h7. I played just kind of a foolish move, queen takes e4. In hindsight, maybe h4 is better. So trying to advance and control the g5 square. That does weaken g4, though. So my advantage, if it exists at this point, is probably not a great one. And after this, I think I made the best of a not bad situation, but one in which I had to adjust my plans. If I were black, I probably would have played bishop e6, but then again, white's going to play e4. But maybe bishop e6 will accelerate the whole idea of trading the light square bishops, as eventually happened. When we traded light square bishops in the game, it's hard to say who's better. At first, I thought I was going to be better, but if his knight can land on an annoying square, then I may have trouble evicting it. And I'm in danger of having a static pawn structure with like a weak c4 pawn. I know my pawn on d5 is protected and passed. It looks powerful, but looks can be deceiving. And his knight is within one square away from like the perfect blockading square on d6. That said, I'm not sure his knight should go to d6. Like, it's possible, especially after what I did. I think he adjusted nicely because he saw if knight d6, I was going to sink my rook into e6 where it's protected by both pawns. So he adjusted by playing knight g5. I think that was good thinking by Kassa. Yeah, and from here, all hell broke loose. It got really messy. Rook a8 was creative. Like I said, he's an imaginative dude, and with rook a8, a6, I don't think that's a plan a lot of people would think of in a blitz game, trying to open a different front. Very interesting. I'm going to go back and run through this with the engine, but those are just my thoughts initially before I add in the engine. So let's take a look. So the Zurich variation, knight c6, attacking the d-pawn. Yeah, and I've had some experience with this, followed by a3, and then capturing with the bishop, leaving the queen on c2, which has the benefit of controlling the e4 square if the queen is not deflected from that square. So a3 he took. I think there are some more straightforward ways for black to try to equalize in this line. Like, I'm not sure about the wisdom of h6. Maybe black should play for e5 more directly, either right now or after castling. I'm not familiar with the theory in this exact position. But h6 seemed like a disjointed move to me. It's not going to kill him. The position's not open, but I question whether that was necessary. So I go with the double fianchetto, and he does break with e5, as he probably should. So take, take. Now, if I try to greedily go after the e-pawn with b5, black has this typical shot, knight d4. And I can't win a pawn because I get mated on e2. It's important to realize. So I castle first. He plays e4. And I was debating whether to move the knight to d2 or d4. I mean, maybe in some circumstances you might even think about knight h4 because you can't ever play that move due to queen takes. The engine seems to like knight d2 a bit more. I was just worried that after bishop f5, this knight was on a poor track. I didn't see where it could go. If I could land it on e3, I think that would be great, attacking the bishop with knight d5 in mind, but it's too far away from that. You need to go like rook fd1, knight f1, knight e3. Maybe that's possible, but it didn't seem realistic to me in the game. So I go here and we trade a set of minor pieces. He plays bishop g4. I defend like that. Computer likes queen e3 a bit more. Yeah, my rook was passive on this square. And he plays a move to make sure queen takes a7 is not a threat. I kick his bishop away. So this was right around where I was commenting that I felt like I had a small edge, and I think that's borne out by the computer evaluation. It's a static position. There's some open lines. Black does own the d file at the moment, but he has no good place to infiltrate down this file. I've got all those squares covered. So I think the big factor here is white's strong dark square bishop and the bishop pair. Potentially the overextended e-pawn for black. So rook c1, and I thought c5 was a good idea. The engine wants to go bishop takes f6. You know, I always thought it was a risky proposition to try to win this pawn. Ah, but that's the idea. Try to win c5. Okay, so deflecting the queen from guarding c5. I didn't see that. Did not catch that one. That might win a pawn, although I think black has compensation even here. c4 is kind of weak. Black's pieces look more active than mine. So I locked it up with b5. Yeah, and engine likes knight h7, what he did. It's a nifty move. And I played queen takes e4. If I could take one move back in this game, that would be it. Just because I didn't anticipate the knight g5 problem. I saw knight g5, but I thought queen h4 would cover it. So what if I play h4? He can play f5 then. The computer claims a small edge to black. I don't know, I still like this bishop, but I will admit that the other bishop is not looking so good. It's like barricaded inside these pawns. Bishop takes e4 also possible, but he'll just grab here. Queen c3 threatening mate. Yeah, even this looks better than what I did in the game slightly. This is the same structure in the game. I've won black's e-pawn, but had to give up my h3 pawn. My king hasn't had to go to f1, which is nice. Yeah, so just to show what I meant, I missed that after this, bishop takes, he has queen takes h4, followed by taking here. Black wins his pawn back, and I might even be a little bit worse because this pawn is weak. My king is kind of exposed. So queen e5 threatening mate on g7, and he does go and win the pawn back. I don't want to just hand him the bishop pair. I worked hard for that bishop pair, so king f1. But yes, black is better here, so now my weaknesses may come to tell. I was worried at various times that he might go and attack the c4 pawn, so queen f7 is the top move according to the computer. Hitting that guy. He's not ready to take it yet. He's got to solve his knight issue first. Maybe I can try to trap his knight, but he's creeping into my position. So knight g5, I went for f4. He brought the knight back to f7, bishop c6. I think we both played pretty accurate in time pressure, at least at this stage. Not coming up, I'm sure. So bishop d5. I do not want to trade light square bishops yet. I'd like to improve my structure somehow if I'm forced to part with my bishop pair. So with bishop d5, I'm just anchoring it here, pinning him, and I want to go e4 and take here. So I was thinking he should play this move right now, although that does allow a potential perpetual. I think he played king f8 at this stage. And I was kind of criticizing that move. I thought it was a little weird looking. Yeah, now he goes here. I swing the queen over. Computer wants to advance on this wing. But I was pretty focused on playing in the center or on the king side at this point. And I am worse at this stage. Queen h3 is a threat. So I tried to block that with f5. Wow, I'm significantly worse. Oh, that must be because after rook takes e1, he has knight d6. And c4 and f5 are under attack. f5 is double attacked, c4 is attacked by the knight. So would I just lose a pawn there? I think so. If rook takes e1, if I have to take with a king, that looks bad too. Rook check, king d2. What does it say here? Knight g5. Exposed king, stable knight that can jump in here, or maybe a rook into e4. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. But he played this move. And oh yeah, my idea, as I described, if knight d6 right away, I think this is a very nice move to get in. I was definitely looking to achieve rook e6 if I could. That just lays the hammer right into the heart of black's position. Stops him from playing knight takes f5 or queen takes f5. This pawn is defended by the rook. This is an interesting line. Okay, so sacking the knight for 2 pawns going after that. I didn't see that in the game. Queen e2 covers both, but he can take a 3rd pawn with this, and it's messy. I love chess. So many possibilities. You guys see what I mean about how Blitz is just like, it's not possible to play a high-quality Blitz game the vast majority of the time. I mean, this is International Master versus International Master. There's tons of improvements here. If this were a standard game, both Kassa and I would be very unhappy with the quality of play. So you got to play those longer games. I'm trying to learn a little bit from my Blitz games, but it's just not comparable to standard or tournament games especially. And here's where we played this really creative rook a8 followed by a6 move. So I was mainly banking on the rook e6 move at some inconvenient time for black. That's what I was going to do. I don't see a real good way to break through. And like I said, I'm leery of black eventually trying to win some of my pawns or going after my king. So I felt like my counterplay was best connected to shoving the rook in there and then maybe sacking on f6 or doubling up or something. But I think it starts with rook e6. So that's why I went for it right here. And the computer says maybe he can get away with taking it, but I would welcome this, especially in time pressure. I don't think he's going to want to face these 2 connected pawns in the center. I'm ready to run. He has to go passive to try to prevent it. Yeah, then I've got fun stuff like that, trying to renew these ideas, or bishop c7. So a6, and we'll take a quick peek at this. I'm not going to exhaustively look at every move because I'm pretty sure the evaluation is going to swing wildly. Okay, taking on b6, so grabbing the pawn is apparently a mistake. I could see that in view of the play that black soon got here. Queen e7 is good, trying to come into e2. I'm up a pawn, but look at my coordination. These pieces are just scattered. The rook on b5 I think is especially misplaced. I've abandoned the e file, just inviting black to invade there. Yeah, okay, so here he should play the prophylactic move king g8, tuck his king away. But he plays rook e8. I take here. Okay, and I found a couple good moves. d6. I want to trade queens badly at this point. If I could swap queens, I would just be praising the heavens because with the queens off the board, I'm probably not going to get mated. So he hit his king again. Yeah, queen c7 would be good. That actually forces the desired queen trade, doesn't it? Because this pawn is also protected by the rook. So I should have played that. We're both down below 30 seconds at this point. Ooh, he finds a nice move with queen a4. I was just on life support here. We're about even time. Here, bishop takes f6 is winning for me somehow. Really? Couldn't he at the very least go check and then do that? Why doesn't that work? Queen c4 trying to force a queen trade again. Okay. And if we go for this endgame, since his rook is under attack and then he takes here, these pawns are marching. Now it was just a free-for-all. I was trying not to blunder too many pieces. I went for the queen trade, but yeah. I'm lucky I didn't take with the bishop. I thought it was leading to mate after queen f2, but maybe I can... Wait. Why is that not... Oh, his knight is pinned. Ah, okay. I thought this was mate because the knight takes g3, but his knight is pinned to his king. Okay, so maybe I should have done that. Would have confused him in time pressure, but luckily got the flag when he played bishop, queen to e3. So I hope you guys will not judge that one based on the time scramble at the end. I think it was like a thematic game for the Zurich variation and an interesting one. So in this line, black is trying to build that dark square wall. And I'd refer you to Christoph Selecki Chess Explained book on this setup because this is one of the main weapon he recommends against the queen c2 Nimzo. I think with best play, white can probably get some positions like I had in the game. I mean, kind of pleasant, 2 bishops, but nonetheless, black remains solid. And the action really started in this one when he played knight h7, and I took on e4. All right, so thanks to Kassa for the game. Like I said, if you want to see more of me versus Kassa, go search my channel for his name. Kassa, and you'll find some live games that we played. Pretty cool, from the London Chess Classic back in December. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be back again soon with another one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.